How do you set a New Year's resolution that you'll actually accomplish? Stay tuned. Another year's behind us, and it's a great time to reflect upon the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the wins and not so much wins, as we finish another lap hurtling through space around a giant ball of burning gas. One of my favorite traditions is to set New Year's resolutions. It's to examine ways in which you'd like to see personal growth and implement a plan to make positive changes in your life. Yet, New Year's resolutions are notorious for being long forgotten by the time you stop putting the wrong year on your documents. So how do you set resolutions that give you the best chances of sticking to them? Today, we're going to see what the science has to say. First, we need to talk about the science of what a resolution really is, because they're an interesting idea, ripe for exploration, psychologically speaking. A resolution is a goal, a specific outcome that you want to see, and these goals are self-initiated. It's you that comes up with the goal rather than some authority figure or something. Several psychological constructs are useful to map out here. To accomplish a goal that is a change in behavior, you need to set the goal, form an intention to reach the goal, and then perform the action that leads to accomplishing the goal. You need to be motivated to sustain the behaviors necessary to make progress on the goal. And since the link between forming intentions and turning them into action is so fundamental to understanding behavior, there are many theories that we could draw from that have experimental support for the factors that we need to consider. But for today, I really want to focus on what we know about setting effective goals, which we can understand through a theory called goal-setting theory. Because psychologists are good at naming stuff. Goal-setting theory was initially developed in the 1960s by Edwin Locke, who later paired with Gary Latham to write a book on the subject. As we've discussed before, theories are frameworks for understanding concepts, and their purpose is to generate new questions that create new experiments which help us understand the subject better. And based on goal-setting theory, we've learned quite a few new things over the past 40, 50 years that need to be considered in order to optimize our goals. The things we've learned here have been studied in hundreds of individual experiments to help us refine our understanding of effective goal setting. And here are some of the principles we've learned so far. Clarity is important. Goals should be clearly defined. For example, instead of "I want to read more," which isn't well defined, maybe you can be more precise to say, "I want to read 10 books this year." Difficulty of the task also matters. If you set the goal too easy, research has shown that this will not promote the sustained increase in behavior that you want. In our example, reading. On the other hand, if the difficulty is too high, it might not be reasonable to achieve and will actually be demotivating. So the ideal goal is one that is challenging but accomplishable. Feedback is a critical element as well. Being able to track your progress towards your goal and adjust your effort as you go is helpful to improve goal achievement. How will you know that you're achieving your goal? What does progress look like? Making your goal measurable can provide valuable feedback. I've read 4 books and it's already September. I better step it up. Commitment is often discussed as part of goal-setting theory, which means the individual setting the goals has buy-in from the people who actually have to do the behavior. Now, this is important in workplaces, like if your boss says, "We need to sell an additional 30 insurance plans this month," and the people doing the selling don't really care about that, well, that's a problem. But since we're talking about New Year's resolutions, I think it's fairly safe to assume that you have some level of commitment to your own goal, but the more committed you are to that goal, the more successful you're going to be. And finally, goal complexity is an important element of goal-setting theory that highlights that there are bigger, longer-term goals that are more complex and abstract, sometimes called superordinate goals, and those can be broken down into smaller, more concrete goals called subordinate goals. In this example, the superordinate goal to read more might have a subordinate goal of read 1 book. And some researchers have argued that you're more likely to make progress on the subordinate goal if it matches the superordinate goal. One handy acronym that can help you as you formulate goals is to make sure you have SMART goals. That is, goals should be SMART. Specific, clearly define what you want to achieve. Measurable, how will you track progress towards your goal? Achievable, challenging but not impossible. relevant to your long-term plans, and time-bound. What's the timeline for achieving this goal, and what progress can be made today? While there's a lot of research on when and how to implement goal-setting theory, there's a 2019 study specifically about making New Year's resolutions that stick. Bettina Höschli and colleagues from the University of Bern, Switzerland, recruited 365 participants for a 3-month-long experiment. They had an experimental design where they manipulated the types of goals they asked participants to set and measured things like how much effort they had invested, intentions to continue pursuing the goal, commitment to the goal, and perceived success in achieving the goal. Participants started on New Year's Eve with a questionnaire where they established their goal, and then they received follow-up questionnaires every 2 weeks for 3 months. One variable manipulated was the superordinate goal. Some participants were asked to list important reasons why they want to pursue this resolution, such as, I want to be a person who is well-read. Another variable manipulated was the subordinate goals, or how they would like to pursue the goal in a concrete way, such as, I plan to read a book every month. Some participants were asked to set both superordinate and subordinate goals, and others in a control group were not asked to list any goals other than beyond their initial resolution. Now, this is what we call a 2x2 experimental design, where there are 2 independent variables, in this case superordinate and subordinate goals, with 2 levels each. They either formulated them or they didn't, for a total of 4 groups. So what did they find? Well, in short, they reported that participants who generated both superordinate and subordinate goals did better than those who only focused on one goal type. Now, my interpretation of their data based on the graph is a little more nuanced. To my eye, it looks like a combination of the 2 goal types does get the best outcomes, but there's an issue such that the groups that didn't form any additional goals seem to do fairly well anyway. To me, it looks like formulating only a superordinate goal, a goal that may be too broad, without adding a subordinate goal to help support it, was the highest risk strategy. Now, this makes a lot of sense because many of the critics of goal-setting theory and its focus on subordinate goals is that you have to maintain your motivation over the long term and not lose focus when you encounter a setback or a failure, or when you accomplish a short-term goal. And you have to resist the magnetic pull of other goals that might compete for your attention. Having an overarching superordinate goal can help you stay focused. I also couldn't help but wonder if just checking in every couple of weeks helped everyone in the study stay more focused on the goal. Another hot tip we can share with you is that finding a judgment-free accountability partner is an established effective strategy for helping with adherence to your goals, as is just setting regular reminders to help keep you on track. I wonder how these groups would compare to the same groups who only received the initial questionnaire and then the one check-in 3 months later. Looks like we need more science. I'm looking at you. So how do you make a New Year's resolution that you'll stick to? Well, break out your vision boards for that long-term superordinate goal, but make sure you make smart goals this new year. And when all your friends have abandoned their resolutions before the groundhog even sees its shadow, you'll be going strong toward becoming the you that you want to be. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to get more videos on setting goals and staying motivated and all things psychology. And until next time, keep thinking. One.